All right, you see the title of the video and you're probably thinking the explanation is fairly simple, and that is Wardell Stephen Curry. And to an extent, you are definitely correct. But the Warriors did have Steph Curry this season, and while they were better than most people think, because they were actually 38 and 27 when he played, I believe, which is a pretty decent team, not a championship team, but a decent team. And they were actually 2-7 without Steph Curry. One of those wins being the last game of the season where they rested all their starters. So essentially a 1-7 team without Steph Curry. And that would prove to you not to be a championship level team. And I don't want to pick on particular players, especially rookies, but when we look at this team and what went wrong and what went right, we have to look at James Wiseman and Kelly Oubre, who completely did not fit this roster. Now, I'm not saying Wiseman can't get better, but I'm saying as of last year, they were bad when he was on the floor, and they were bad when Kelly Oubre is on the floor. And what's one thing that those two guys have in common is they're not good passers. Now, to put this in perspective, the Warriors starting lineup on opening day had Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Draymond, and James Wiseman. That's their starting lineup day one. This lineup had a negative 12 net rating for the season, and it was their second most used lineup. So this team is honestly tanking the first half of the season, trying to force Oubre and Wiseman to play their style of basketball, which was just never gonna work. And if we look at their most used lineup, where all you do is substitute Bazemore for Oubre and Looney for Wiseman, and that team is a +9 in net rating. So you go from -13 to +9, just taking away Oubre and Wiseman. And this is a lot of minutes for both lineups. And looking at it, every lineup Steph Curry played in, besides the one with Wiseman and Oubre, was a positive this season. And even if you look at three-man lineups, which may be a better way to look at it when you consider Steph and Draymond as a tandem, and who's the third best with those two, if you look at the lineups, the only negative lineups that include Steph are with Oubre and Wiseman. The lineup of Steph, Wiggins, and Wiseman, -11 net rating. The lineup of Steph, Draymond, and Wiseman, -7 net rating. The lineup of Steph, Wiggins, Oubre, -2. Draymond, Wiggins, Oubre, -4. Like, there's two common denominators in all of these stats with the Warriors, and there's a very good likelihood that none of those or neither of those guys will be on a team next year. And just to add some context to it, let's look at Steph with two other players. Let's say, okay, Steph, Wiggins, Draymond, only a +4. That's a little low. Steph, Draymond, Looney, +15. Steph, Bazemore, and Wiggins, +6. Steph, Draymond, Juan Toscano Anderson, +12. Steph, Bazemore, Looney, did I say that? +8. Like, every lineup that didn't include Wiseman and Oubre was a winning lineup. And again, I am not trying to bash James Wiseman or even Kelly Oubre. Although Kelly Oubre before this season with the Warriors averaged less than an assist per game for his career. And that is wild. That is very wild to me. But when you think about it, he played with John Wall and Bradley Beal. He wasn't really, he was just standing in the corner, but still, that's wild. And when you watch him, you see it. He's a terrible passer. But as far as Wiseman, I think he has a ton of potential, and wherever he goes, I feel like he's going to be a very, very good player. I don't think it's meant to work with the Warriors, though. And this is my last little net rating thing that I just came across. Wiseman, Oubre, Wiggins together, -17 net rating, and they played 396 minutes together. This team was, as Steve Kerr said, not chasing wins. They could have played so many better lineups. And I already went through all the lineups and how it hurt the team and what could have been a 5 seed, 4 seed type of season if you just look at the net ratings of the good lineups on this team, which didn't get enough minutes together for probably political reasons. If you just look at Steph Curry stats, forget the winning or whatever, just look at Steph Curry stats. In 29 games without James Wiseman, he averaged 35, 6, and 5. 6 assists, 5 rebounds. 29 games, that's a lot of games. And in 15 games without Kelly Oubre, he averaged 38.6, almost 39, 5 boards, almost 6 boards, 5 assists in 15 games without Kelly Oubre. So not only, well, it goes hand in hand. Not only is your team better, you unlock Steph Curry, and a lot of this has to do with Draymond playing center, which really begs the question, why do you draft a center number 2 overall when Draymond Green at center has been your cheat code the last 6 years? It's a lot of interesting stuff going on behind the scenes with the Warriors, but I think the end of the season really showed them that Draymond and Steph can still win in this league at a very high level. Can they win a ring by themselves? No, but I think they have, 1, to have Klay coming back, and 2, they have assets to make moves. And also, they did manage to find 2 players that I think are really going to help them next year. And one I've already mentioned in Juan Toscano-Anderson. But let me just get back to the lineup data. The lineup data is everything, bro. Steph Curry, Wiggins, Juan Toscano-Anderson, +9. Draymond, Wiggins, Juan Toscano-Anderson, +12. He's a very good player. He's a Draymond light, if you will. He's gonna find Steph every time, sometimes to the detriment of the team, but you need players like that with Steph, but the Warriors also need to find a balance of players that are gonna get Steph the ball and also players that are gonna get their own with Steph, with the attention Steph brings to them, and be able to take advantage of it. And that's the next player I'm talking about, and that is Jordan Poole. Again, back to the lineup data, back to the 3-man lineups. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, and 165 minutes together, +19.5. That is ridiculous, and it seemed like that on the court. Just having that other player that's gonna get to the rim while Steph and Draymond are doing their 2-man game, someone that's gonna catch and shoot with no hesitation. Jordan Poole is that guy, and to be honest, I think the Warriors are gonna play it a little, they're not gonna say how much they like this kid, because I think they believe he can be very good, not 6-man good, like starting guard in this league good. And to back up that point, just the 2-man lineup of Steph Curry and Jordan Poole was a +18. So the Warriors really like him, but all this was telling you how good the Warriors could have been last year if they just played everybody. Next year is gonna be a completely different year. They're getting Klay Thompson back. They have James Wiseman, Wiggins, 7 and 14 to be able to make a huge splash at the draft or this summer in the offseason. So many different ways this team can go, but at the foundation of it, Draymond Green and Steph Curry together proved that they are still winners in this league, and they're not that far off, especially if you have an organization that is chasing wins, which they were not doing last year for whatever reason. After Klay got hurt, everybody said, oh, we're done, just a developmental year, we can't. And now look at who's in the finals. No disrespect to the Suns, but the Warriors could have competed with them. The Warriors could have competed with that Jazz team. The Warriors could have competed with the Kawhi Leonard-less Clippers, The Warriors could have competed with the Anthony Davis-less Los Angeles Lakers. Like, that's why, to me, it was completely idiotic to say, we're not chasing wins. We're just trying to develop James Wiseman, and we're just waiting until we get Klay back. Klay's gonna solve it all for us. That was the completely wrong approach, in my opinion, but they end up with the 14th pick out of it. They get the 7th pick from the D'Lo trade, and the Warriors are set up in a very, very good position, especially if Klay can come back to be Klay, which I don't expect, but if they get Klay from 2019 Finals Klay, they are no doubt a top 3 contender in this league, but we all know that's not super realistic. But again, they have assets. They have a lot of moves they can make. I don't know what they're gonna do with the draft picks. I just play a GM on 2K. That's for Bob Myers to figure out. All I know is Draymond Green and especially Steph Curry, who, if they weren't messing around with the Oubre Wiseman lineup, Steph Curry would have won MVP this season. If you look at his numbers without Wiseman and Oubre, Steph Curry would have won MVP this season if the Warriors weren't messing around with those lineups. But Steph Curry especially, and Draymond Green showed they can still get it done this year. So I expect the Warriors, Bob Myers, Joe Lacob, all of them, Steve Kerr, to do exactly what is necessary to make it possible, because the clock is ticking for them. Steph Curry's getting older, Draymond's getting older, and it should be fun to see what they do, because this is going to be like we all like to see the champion that's desperate, that might go home. That's going to be the Warriors all of next season, and I'm super excited to see it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Any Oubre defenders out there? Again, I'm very high on Wiseman, honestly, just not with the Warriors. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm out. Peace.